this reveals a lot about the Buccaneers. There is a new report coming in talking about the performances from the offense, the defense in training camp. But in particular, there is a coach, and we'll be talking about the new coaches, old coaches, but a new coach that, is standing out and has a lot to say about what is going on for the future of the Buccaneers this season. I'm Sebastian from Buccaneers Digest. Welcome, everybody. We got a lot to talk about, but make sure first to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, hit the button. 95% of y'all still not subscribed, so we just got to make sure we're doing that, and you will be here for all things Buccaneers. Preseason right around the corner. It is this week in terms of a Buccaneers game that we get to analyze and break down. So a lot of good stuff coming your way. But first to talk about before preseason kicks off for the Buccaneers is that there is a lot of chatter about new offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard. We've gone a lot of years with a new offensive coordinator. This is nothing new for the Buccaneers, but he had to say, we have our install, they have their install. He's referring to the Bucs defense. And it doesn't necessarily match. They could run something where whatever we're going to run isn't going to work, and vice versa. We have an idea on what's happening, but especially during the call-up periods, which we've had a ton so far, you don't necessarily know what you're getting. It feels good just to go out there and call a play and have everybody, especially the quarterback, react to what we're seeing on defense and trying to get into an optimal play. So, obviously, mouthful, what are we talking about right now? He is talking about how when, the offense sets up, their original play, when they get to the line of scrimmage getting ready to snap the ball, they have to analyze what the defense is doing, what they're set up as, and if they have to make any adjustments, because Josh is pointing out that they don't know the plays that the defense is calling, and the defense doesn't know what he's calling either. So it's just kind of similar to a normal game. I mean, the difference between calling plays and an install is when you're taking things very slowly. You're breaking down the minutia of these plays. It's kind of like a walkthrough. You're walking through the play, but they're also having to call plays at the same time. So they're doing both. They're installing plays, but they're also calling plays. And when they're calling plays, you're not supposed to know, obviously, when you line up what the other team or what the other side of the ball is, what they're doing. Otherwise, it would be broken. It wouldn't really be simulating real football. You would both know each other, and it's like a movable force, unstoppable object. Anyway, so that's basically that's what he's describing: installs versus calling plays. But it's important because Josh is a new OC. He's installing some of his new plays, but it's good to remember Josh was here last year with the Buccaneers. He was on the staff, the offensive staff, the passing game coordinator. So there's familiarity, especially with Baker Mayfield. He's like, okay, I have worked with this guy last year under Liam Cohen, who was the offensive coordinator last year, now the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're all still a little salty about that, but anyway, it's good though that we have a guy that they call Grizz the Wiz. He's known for being really smart. The players seem to really like him. Every video we've seen of him seems like he's a very straight talker. He has a coach's voice. He talks with authority. But overall, when he's talking about installs and everything, it sounds like he knows what he's talking about. We've had, offensive coordinators in the past where it's like, or just coaches where you can kind of tell they don't really know what they're doing. And so, I'm not saying any names, but we kind of know who we're talking about. And so Josh is, clearly like, okay, I'm taking what Liam did. I'm putting in some of my own stuff because, we're always going to be installing new plays and we have to keep things fresh. But at the same time, it means there's going to be some growing pains. That's definitely been the case for Tampa, this training camp. He also had to say, from the time they got here in April, talking about the offense, through the plays we were running in the spring to try to push the ball down the field a little bit more, we did a bunch of it in the spring and have done a good amount of it here so far. It is great. It is a great challenge with all the blitzes, trying to hold up in protection and be in the right protection to be able to get that off, to be able to get the throw down the field. It's something we're stressing and will continue to stress. Again, so what is he talking about? He's talking about like the fact that they've been installing since the spring, and now they're still installing now. They're adding new plays. They're bringing in new plays and doing those walkthroughs. But they're focusing on throwing the ball down the field more, which is really interesting. I mean, it's not something that we weren't doing last season, but Josh is making it sound like we're trying to do it even more. And that, the reports have been that the defense has been taking, advantage of the offense a little bit. That comes with injuries. Tristan Wirfs is not there for the padded practices, where the protection would obviously be a lot better if Tristan was in. But it also just means when you're trying to throw the ball downfield, that means, the receivers need more time to get downfield. So the protection has to hold up while that's happening, while that's, progressing. And so they're working that out. Todd Bowles, as they said, he loves to blitz. He loves to send guys after the quarterback. So that means, as the play is taking longer to develop for those guys to get downfield, the blitzes are getting in there, and the offensive line is outmanned. Blitzes typically mean that you're sending extra guys to attack the quarterback, or coming at strange angles. You send a nickel corner off of the side and everything. So that's what he's trying to adjust right now. He's trying to get used to okay, what do I have to get the offensive line to do? What do I have to get sending the running back? I need to have Rachaad White instead of Bucky Irving. And all that. So it's really interesting to have that be going down, and to hopefully see it be successful. Long balls mean more balls for Mike Evans. That's definitely what the fans want to hear, and so that's definitely exciting to hear. But what's also interesting, Todd Bowles had to talk. First I want to talk about what the Pewter Report had to say. He said Bucs' new offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard is being thrown right into the fire as a first-time play caller. While Grizzard was here last season in Tampa, this is a completely different scenario for him. Head coach Todd Bowles is not treating him with kid gloves by any means, and he has seen a heap of defensive looks, blitzes, and schemes on a daily basis. It would be fair to see early on during training camp that the defense on Tampa Bay has been getting the win over the offense more. That is not to say that the offense has not had their moments, though. So that was Matt Matera from Pewter Report. So that's, he's basically saying, yeah, like Bowles has been is in his bag. He knows, that he's going to be winning some of these battles early on, because Josh has to get used to calling plays. We haven't even had our first preseason game yet, so he's a bit of a rookie in terms of that scenario. And Todd, he's helped us win a Super Bowl against an all-time team with the Chiefs. So it's there's going to be some growing pains for that. And, just because the Bucs were really good on offense with Liam Cohen as their offensive coordinator last year doesn't mean that, it's just going to be the same thing because we have all the same players on offense this year. Emeka Ibuka's got to learn all this stuff with everybody else. There's just a lot of components. We have the, offensive line competition because Tristan's out. Godwin's not practicing right now. And so there's just a lot of things that you have to work around. The injuries, and then the new play calling, everything. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind as to why the defense might be getting the upper hand right now. Todd Bowles had to say that he's executing well, talking about Josh Grizzard. It's call-it period, but at the same time, it's install period as well, just like we were talking about. He's not completely calling the game, but he's calling what he has in, and he's executing those very well. He means that he's calling the plays that he has installed so far. So he doesn't have everything installed yet, but the plays that he has installed, it's going well. It's he's putting in some good plays that are testing the defense, and we've seen good plays and highlights from training camp so far. So it's not like a complete disaster or anything. Far from it. The offense is making plays, and it's just that the defense has been making more to start things out, which is good. It means that there's a lot to learn in tape for the players. So that there's never it's never time for disaster if things aren't going too well for the offense. The Bucs know how to adjust and deal with adversity for sure. Now I want to kick it to you guys. What do you think about Josh Grizzard? And are you worried or are you confident about Josh and the offense this season? Do you think that we have so much talent that's going to be hard for him to fail, or do you think that no matter the talent that you have, it comes down to like can you do the job? Can you make the offense, the play calls? Because we've seen in the past, we've had talented offenses where things have kind of fallen apart because of play calling and the greatest of all time quarterback. So like that to me, I think that I have confidence because Josh was part of that Liam Cohen offense as well. He was there learning from all of that. It's just that I think that the first 4 weeks are going to be they might be frustrating. We're going to see in preseason what he's got installed, but I am a little, wary that things might be a bit frustrating in those first couple of weeks of the season. But you let me know. Are you worried? Are you not worried? Everything, and sound down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, and I will keep you updated on all things Buccaneers as we continue on here. And make sure to stay tuned and let me know what you're thinking down below. Thanks, guys.